Right, so question 4. A lot of this you can get marks for with the calculator, especially, but for the first part, you've got to, you're just solving the equation using the quadratic formula. You know you're going to have to, because it says leave it in third form. So just start by saying, well, what is a quadratic formula? It is negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So b is our negative 10. So the negative of negative 10 is positive 10, plus or minus, and then you're going for negative 10 squared, which is just effectively 10 squared. Take 4 times a is 1 times negative 20 all over 2. So what's that going to be? It's going to be 10 plus or minus 100 add 80. That's going to make negative 80. When you take negative 80, you add it. So you should, and you can put it all in the calculator, that should give you root 180 all over 2. But the square root of 180 is 6 root 50. So, and actually your calculator should have simplified this further for you, because 2 can go into both of those. That's going to give you 10 divided by 2 is 5, plus or minus 3 root 5. And that is your total solution. That's how they want it. You can, instead of writing that, you could have written a equals 5, b equals 5, or you could put both things down. It's absolutely fine. Right, now, sketching the graphs of these two. I've stupidly left my calculator in a different building, so I'm going to have to do this without, but just by entering 3 minus a half x and that x squared minus 10x minus 20 into your graphing function, you can get full marks from that just by making sure you then copy down what you should have going on. But if you didn't have that, where would we start? Well, I'd probably start by looking at the quadratic, because I know that the y-intercept is negative 20. So I know I'm going to have that point there. I'm also got a quadratic where I know that 5 plus 3 root 5, if I do that, that's 11 point something, and this is negative 1 point something. So your 5 root and your negative, your 5 take and your 5 plus, they're going to be sort of balancing out, looking something like this. In fact, in the mark scheme, they show it. They say if you've used your values from A, then that's absolutely fine. They've actually put them in as showing them this point here as being negative 1.710, and this one over here as being 11.70. It's up to you exactly how you do that. Doesn't really matter as long as you've shown it as that point. And you should, strictly speaking, be writing 0, negative 20 here, but as long as it's clearly labelled on the axis, you're normally okay with that. Then I'm going to be having a curve coming, because it's a quadratic, it's going to be doing this. It doesn't actually, if it asks you for all points of interest or to sketch the curve, it says label all points where it doesn't actually ask you to label the turning point. Often it does. It's probably worth putting that in there, as you can hit G-solve and do it that way anyway, or complete the square, but we won't bother with that because it wasn't needed. And then the other one is, this is a straight line, isn't it? It's crossing at 0, 3, because that is a y-intercept of 3, and it's got a gradient of negative a half. So that's going to be coming across at something like this. And if you look at your graphing function, you can see that they're going to be cutting each other below the line there, and that's going to come into the question later. But these 2 points here, oh yeah, we don't need those 2 points here, but what you do need for your full 4 marks is you need that point there, which happens when y is equal to 0. So this was if y equals 3 minus a half x, 0 equals 3 minus x over 2. If I times everything by if you times everything by 2, you get you end up with x equals 6. So that point there should be 6, 0. And then that's all 4 points. That, and that. Okay, moving on to part C. Using an algebraic method to find the coordinates of any points of intersection between the two graphs. So this means you need to make the two functions that we have at the top of the question equal to each other. So you start off by getting a mark for saying that 3 minus a half x is equal to x squared minus 10x, take 20. First thing I would do is just double everything to get rid of that fraction. I'd have 6 take x equals 2x squared, take 20x, take 40. Then if we make everything equal to 0, we would have 2x squared, add x gets you to negative 19x, taking 6 gets you negative 46 is equal to 0. Now 19 is a prime number, so we can't simplify that at all. So we need to factorise. Now you could, if you don't like factorising, you can just whack it into the quadratic formula, but this is a nice one to practice on that. But if you do use a quadratic formula, you need to write that all out. So 2 times negative 46, that would be negative 92. So we're looking for numbers that multiply to make negative 92 and add to make negative 19. Or in other words, whose difference is 19. So 1 and 92's difference is 91. 2 and 46, their difference is 44. 4 and half of 46 is 23. Their difference is 19. So now I'm going to rewrite that as 2x squared plus 4x, take 23x, as that combines to make negative 19, take 46 is equal to 0. I'm then going to do single bracket factorisation of those two parts of the left hand side. So 2x times x plus 2 is equal to 2x squared plus 4x. That means that's one of my brackets, x plus 2. So what number do I multiply x by to get negative 23x? Negative 23. So my factorisation is going to be 2x take 23 times x plus 2 equals 0. So then my x values, I'm going to get x equals negative 2. It's the easy one, isn't it? And when x equals negative 2, I can say y equals 3 take a half times negative 2, which is going to be ending up adding 1, which is 4. So you get the point negative 2, 4. And then the other one, 2x minus 23. Well, if you say 2x minus 23 has got to be equal to 0 for the bracket to be 0, 2x equals 23, and therefore x is 23 over 2. You just change the sign and divide this value by that one. So that's going to give me the other point being 23 over 2, or you can write 11.5, and then we're whacking that into our y equals 3 minus a half times x. So the x was 23 over 2. So that's going to be 3 take 23 over 4. And put that into your calculator and you should get 11 over 4, or negative 11 over 4. And that's your final answer there. So you've got that point and that point there.